Hi, it's Freeway Frank. Usually at this time of the year, people are breaking their New Year's resolutions, but mine has been to get a brand new mattress and the pillow I've been longing for at Dormez-vous. I'm going to tell you more about the Dormez-vous New Year, New You event coming up later on during this podcast. Meanwhile, enjoy it. And thanks so much to Dormez-vous for being our lead sponsor.
This is the Drive-By with Freeway Frank.
Gabs, et chez moi is at my house. Nice to see you.
Nice to be here, man. Thank you for the invite.
I have to say, Gab, from the first time I noticed one of your videos online, I was blown away by the positivity of your videos. Mostly, if I'm not mistaken, in the French language, right? Did you do any in English at all?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I was asked to, but you know, I'm from
Quebec.
Yeah, from Quebec, and le français c'est ma langue première. I'm trying to get better in English, so I'm gonna do the interview in English. I appreciate the invite and the opportunity, and maybe I'm gonna switch a little bit in the interview. But
actually, I encourage you to switch back and forth because that's what I want to make clear on this interview. Is that especially here in Quebec, I like that. I like that a francophone and an allophone, because Italian is my first language, English is my second. I'm not even an anglophone, and French is my third. I like the fact we could sit down and talk about things. And you know, I was in broadcasting for 30 years, but I'm not a journalist. You're not a journalist. We just met today, but we knew of each other. We're just sitting down, shooting the shit and talking. So I want to make that clear to people, right? And we're going to talk about a lot of things, but we're just two guys. We're two guys talking. And feel free to speak in English or French at any time. So when I first saw your video, as I said, I thought it was excellent. I thought it was concise. I thought it got to the point. We're going to talk about those two videos specifically, one that you released in August of 2021 and one you released in December of 2021. But before that, I just wanted to say your videos resonated with a lot of people. It cut through language. It was great on either side of the spectrum, no matter what language you speak. And it resonated with a lot of people during the pandemic. So what made you, before we even get into any background about who you are and where you come from, what made you start doing videos? Was it a YouTube career you were trying to start? What motivated you and inspired you?
Yeah, I was doing it because I was frustrated, and I have two kids at home, so 3 years and 2 years old, and I don't want to see grow them up in a world that they're not allowed to think for themselves. They're not allowed to speak for themselves. And I was seeing like the climat social
social climate.
Yeah, social climate. That was like
you weren't.
There's no even word, not good words for it. It was crazy. So I said, fuck it. I'm gonna speak and.
So your background in terms of what you do in life, because I went on your website, you talk about nutrition. You're a heavy book reader.
Yeah.
You read one book a week. So who knows? You might be the Canadian David Goggins and we don't even know yet. We're just starting to discover you. There's a lot about you that I think people need to find out. A little background on you and your schooling, what you do. Mm-hmm. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. I started at 17, my first business after school. I already knew I wanted to be like an entrepreneur from like a young age. 14 years old, I read a book, like a Millionaire Mind book.
Yeah.
So I started at 17 after school. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I tried to learn that in school, but it wasn't. I saw rapidly in Cégep that the teachers didn't know about business. They were like speaking theory, but they didn't know the practice, how to execute and really build a business. So I just decided to go do it myself. So at 17, I went door to door to sell concrete and sealant. You know, they sell concrete. I don't know how to say it in English. Yeah, sealant.
Okay.
Sealant. Yeah. Okay. So I got some contract. I think people thought I was cute at first, you know, and they said, "Oh, look at the young guy." But I wasn't selling a chocolate bar. You know, I was selling $2,000 selling for.
Incredible. Yeah, you're already ahead of the game.
But
you're thinking big.
Yeah. I was just following my dreams and maybe a little bit naive. I was naive and young and you know, just trying it out and it got me started, and I saw that it was possible just to start a business, and it's just do it. You just got to do it. And so things pick it up, and I wanted to get better always. So I tried to learn, read books, and find mentors. So that's what got me started, and then I started multiple businesses. I sold a couple of them, and I got bankrupt. Also, I had at 24, I had 35 employees. A big business, selling car shelters.
Amazing.
Tempos.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I had 3 stores, 30 employees. I got my first kid. I think I was on top of the world, making good money. And but 3 months later, I bankrupt with that business because things got out of control. The operations were not going well, and things started to fall apart, and I lost everything from that business.
So it was a learning experience.
Yeah, really got me humble, a little bit of...
Brought you down.
Yeah.
Because when we're...
Down to earth.
Yeah, when we're young, it's like our head is in the sky, in the clouds.
Yeah.
And we think, if I look back now when I was your age, you're 28 years old, and I look back at 28 and I go, oh, man, I just really did it. You know a lot more, but I really didn't know anything. So it's the same from your experience in starting a brand new business. So then what made you, when we started noticing these videos, if I'm not mistaken, some of these videos or a collection of these videos hit 5 million views. How did that start? How did you start? As I said, had you started a YouTube channel? I know you were doing a podcast at some point. Did you have any experience in media, or you just started this new media venture?
Well, it was always my intention to share the knowledge that I was, receiving from mentors, and I was following YouTube channels from different entrepreneurs and people I admire, like Joe Rogan, who we spoke about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was, inspiring myself through different people, and I wanted to give back what I received from all those mentors and people that were inspiring me. So I did a lot of YouTube videos in my young 20s while I was building my business, my car shelter business.
Yep.
I was sharing just what I learned through my experience, my personal experience, and I was seeing that as a way to keep a record of my growth, mon parcours, si on veut. Fait que that's but that wasn't like the goal when I started to do video for COVID situation and everything. It was just like in my young 20s, I wanted to share the experience of an entrepreneur, the journey. What is it to start from the bottom and go to the top?
Yeah,
because that was my intention.
That's what Drake said.
Yeah. So after that, I started doing a podcast in 2020, I think. But the pandemic came, and I stopped doing that podcast. I had a real estate business also that I started after my bankruptcy. I started in the real estate industry. So that's...
So then when somebody says to you, and you told me off camera before we started today that it was really, your videos really were met with a lot of positivity. You really didn't get that much negativity. But I'm sure you've had some people saying, but Gab, what are your qualifications? Mm-hmm. You speak of nutrition, you have a business, you talk about the pandemic, you talk about your thoughts on the passport and vaccination, but who are you to tell us all this? What do you answer when somebody says, what's your background? Because that's the easiest cop-out I find from people.
Yeah.
I hear that from people all the time. Okay, Frank, great. You're always talking about it, but you're not a medical doctor. You're not an epidemiologist. You're not a virologist. You're not... How do you answer people? Yeah. How do you get around that and then keep putting out these great videos, which we're going to talk about?
Well, first of all, I don't really care what you think about it, so that's a good start. C'est comme, like it or not.
Je m'en fous.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. So je vais dire ma vérité. I'm gonna speak my truth. Speak what I think is good for everybody, and we'll see what it goes. But I'm a human being as you are. That's what I would say to somebody. Who are you to speak? I'm a human being as you are, and I learn things. I follow experts. I go learn for myself. We're all able with the access of the information we have today. Like, it's crazy how we can like access to everything.
Everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So based on statistics you see, you would go on sites from, the World Health Organization. You would go on all these different sites. You would watch videos, read literature, read journals, hear about these doctors who are the experts in mRNA vaccine or the ones who are not as legit, and piece it all together and come up with your 3 or 4 minute video, which, first of all, how long would it take you to put one of those videos together? Because I watched it and I'm like, but this is too good here. I mean, you must have a trick, because it's
teleprompter.
You do use, but it doesn't look like you're reading. But so you do use a teleprompter.
Yeah.
But they're fantastic.
I'm revealing my secrets for the first time here.
Yeah, but you're so natural and you're so good at it. So okay, so let's talk about that video. That first, I guess your biggest one would be about the one that came out in August of 2021 about the passports.
Yeah.
What kind of opposition did you get from that? Or did most people immediately, because it was shared everywhere, it became very popular in Quebec and even across Canada, people were sharing it and translating it. Did you get any media criticism about that? Did anybody talk about it? Or was it all accolades? Gab, this is fantastic. And tell us a bit about your thoughts on vaccine passports and what prompted you to make that heavy statement. Yeah. But at the same time, always very positive.
Well, I'm very focused. So first of all, I didn't really saw like the negative criticism. Maybe it's a bias that I have. I look towards more positive side of things. So
you don't care about what anybody has to.
Well, exactly. There's always going to be negative people, and they see things from their perspective, so it doesn't belong to me. It's their perspective.
It's their reality.
There's reality. So I'm going to keep sharing my reality and try to connect with people that are similar, have similar thoughts to like me, So I sorry, what was the question again?
So the question is, when you, so that's a big statement to make, to come out and put out that video.
Yeah.
What prompted you to? So
well, the first one I did, it was in January.
When the pandemic was entering the second year.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. It was a full year that it was in.
January, I think 2020. I think that was the first one.
Okay, which that one was about?
Was about just the situation, just the social climate. I saw that people weren't able to speak. There was only one narrative, only one way of thinking, of seeing things. And when I looked to the Great Declaration of Barrington, it was 3 doctors, 3 PhD, one from Harvard, another from Oxford, and the other one from I don't know, but Princeton, I think.
Okay.
It's the 3 biggest university in the world.
3 biggest Ivy League schools.
Yeah, so the 3 doctors are saying, guys, we need to have a focused protection strategy instead of lockdowns, and it creates too much collateral damage. In my head, I said, it makes sense. There's country in the world that are poor, and people don't have, they live with $1 a day. So if we here don't send them money as we were doing before pandemic, what's gonna happen to them? We're a big family on Earth. It's not only
us.
So you got to think about others, and when I see 3 biggest doctor in the world saying, hey guys, come on, we need to think about this, and we're seeing the government with close eyes and
very narrow-minded.
Narrow-minded. So there's a problem. I need to speak out, and when I did, that's the first video that got 1 million views.
Incredible.
And was taken from Radio-Canada. They tried to do an article because I made one mistake in a statistic, one statistic mistake. So they took my video and they tried to say false information. They put a warning sign under it. So
they tried to fact check your video.
And exactly.
They were basically saying that some of the facts were inaccurate.
Yeah, exactly. Right. They were right. There was one error, but I corrected in another video. Yeah. And then, but yeah, so that's what got me maybe to, after that, the one you're speaking this summer, I was already used to have like big coverage, and I was just focusing doing my thing. I put this because I think it's going to help society, it's going to help my community to get along, and instead of divide, reunite people, and that's the intention behind it. So I just do it and I focus on my things.
Yeah, the anti-passport video that you put out also had massive views and an incredible message of freedom, which nowadays when you use that word, it's a bad word. It somehow became
crazy,
a bad. It's almost let's be honest. It's progressives who have made this word a taboo word. What? But freedom is all we have. And I loved because you were talking about liberté and freedom, which is what prompted you to do the anti-passport right before they released the passports, right? That was in August you did that one. So tell us a bit about that and your thoughts on the passport system, how it's worked for you here in Quebec, how you see it going, because there's rumors that people are saying that it might come to an end at some point. Don't worry about it. I'm not getting that feeling as a regular guy, everyday Joe.
I'm not getting it either. So yeah, well, my thought on it, it's if you see where it's going. If you when you're in business, you got to see ahead of things. You got to see where it's gonna où c'est que ça va nous amener. Si on va dans cette direction là. So,
continue en français un peu, parce que je peux pratiquer mon français, pas trop pire. Puis j'aime t'entendre parler en français. Puis il y a des gens, des francophones qui veulent entendre aussi. Alors,
absolument.
Tu peux continuer en français.
Mais c'est, en fait, quand tu vois la direction où est-ce que ça s'en va, moi, personnellement, je trouve que ça s'en va vers un état totalitaire. À mon avis, tu regardes la Chine, comment qu'avec toutes les caméras, c'est surveillé, le crédit social. C'est des choses que c'est facile de regarder à d'autres endroits dans le monde pour se dire, OK, ben si on s'en va dans cette direction-là, je pense que c'est vers là que ça va nous amener. Il faut juste être prudent. Puis je dis pas que c'est ça, mais on peut-tu juste en parler? Si on n'en parle pas, puis we're not even able to have the discussion, comme...
There's a problem.
There's a problem, guys.
Yeah, there's a very big problem. So what Gab just said is it's heading towards totalitarianism, and he's worried that if we can't have this discussion in any language, and we're silenced, and people like Gab or myself or Vince Guzzo or anybody who has an opinion is not following the narrative that mainstream media and big corporations are giving you, or big pharma are telling you every day, that we're in big trouble here because there's no light at the end of the tunnel. This doesn't seem to be coming to an end. So, so then in December, you did another video about when will this go back to normal? When will our lives go back to normal? Do you see us returning to normal anytime soon?
Well, that's a good question that we need everyone to ask.
What do people need to do? So as a guy who goes on Instagram and social media and puts out these great videos, what's your message to people, French and English, in both languages? You can answer the question. What do they need to do what do we need to do as a society so that we could get back to normal? Is it civil disobedience like Vince Guzzo mentioned on January 30th when businesses start to reopen? What are your thoughts on that?
Je pense que ça, c'est une bonne option, une bonne avenue, puis surtout de pas rester isolé, de parler. In my opinion, a way we can get out is speak out. If you find that things doesn't make sense, just say it.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Parce que les gens ont peur de parler.
Puis les gens ont peur de parler parce que personne parle. Puis là, c'est comme comment on dit, c'est la poule ou l'œuf là, en anglais.
Vicious circle.
Yeah. Fait que c'est ça, c'est un cercle vicieux qu'on s'en sort pas si personne ose parler. Puis au final, we're like in a war. I compare this to a war of information. It's not on a battlefield with guns, but it's with words and ideology and thoughts. So if you you know, back in when you were fighting a real war, it was real ammo, real bullets you were taking. Now it's like opinion of people on social media. Are you really afraid of having like an arrow on social media, somebody that
pointed
doesn't
at
like you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's our freedom, it's our life, it's more important than just your little ego or whatever. So.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. So a couple of other things I noticed on your social media and your website was, as I said, you're big on. I notice you exercising with your, or I don't know if it's meditation or what you're doing. You have with your soon-to-be wife, because you're getting married. Félicitations.
Merci.
On peut le dire, le 22 février.
Exactly.
Okay, that's why Gab is having a dry January and February. I tried to offer him, I'm drinking water. I usually drink scotch, and he's a scotch drinker. But he says, no, I can't drink till my wedding because I'm having not only a dry January, I'm having un sec février. I don't even know if you could say sec. Février as well. So he's not drinking for 2 months because he's getting married. So congratulations. But I see you and your wife exercising, your children in the videos as well. This is a big thing for you, right? So I would imagine you also have some suggestions for nutrition on your site, some of the vitamins you may take and suggest to people, which also is taboo in 2022.
Yeah.
Tell somebody like, you need vitamin D, you need magnesium. People freak out because the next word they somehow correlate with those two are ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, and it's like, no, it's like vitamins, it's natural. Where are you going? But it's the whole narrative that when you say certain things, they try to throw you under the bus.
And I think a big part of this is because of the media. It's doing like they're associating things and playing with like des idéologies, puis essayer de faire des associations entre les personnes. Mais tu sais, c'est ça, comme tu parles de vitamines. Là, on n'est pas en train de parler de... Puis c'est ça, ça veut pas dire que tu es un gourou en train de méditer dans un monastère parce que tu parles de vitamines. C'est comme on peut-tu séparer les choses?
So this Quebec, in your opinion, because you're so focused on exercise and meditation and well-being, Quebec, in your opinion, as a Quebecer, is doing a terrible job with that message. Do they even have messaging like that? Eat better.
Ouais, vraiment
exercise,
pas. Hein?
Non.
Pas en tout. Mais on commence à le voir un petit peu en Colombie. J'ai vu récemment une publicité de Colombie qu'à la télévision, ils disent aux gens pour mieux passer au travers de la pandémie, faites de l'exercice, bien manger.
In Colombia?
In Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not British Columbia.
No,
Colombia in South America.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
So someone sent me that an advertising on TV. This says that you gotta eat healthy, you gotta move, drink water, sleep well. That's basic stuff. But sometimes in our complicated world, we forget basic stuff. And
So what do you tell a fellow Quebecer, somebody who's watching this podcast, maybe even for the first time on YouTube or listening on many platforms that we're on? What do you tell them? In English or French, you choose, that they need to focus on more than watching the news at night. Because I think the more people watch news, like my mom watches 24-hour Rai, which is their national broadcaster in Italy, and she's scared. She's in her 80s, and that's all she gets as her information. Yeah. It's only one side, and it's wear the mask immediately after you leave the house, wear it outside when there's no one around. And so there's a lot of misinformation, disinformation out there. What do you tell someone who's watching this for the first time, a Quebecer, that they need to do and focus on more than watching the news and hearing about how many cases we have? For example, there's a lot of people also who get sick, and the first thing they do is they go get tested, right? Well, you have COVID, you have the flu. What are you panicking about? Why are you spending 5 hours in minus 20-degree weather, right? And jeopardizing your health and possibly getting a pneumonia when you could just stay home.
Ouais. Qu'est-ce que je dirais? Honnêtement, je suis pas médecin, fait que je veux pas parler au travers de mon
You're not
chapeau.
a doctor.
I'm not a doctor. Yeah. Mais ce que, cherchez, l'information est toute là. Everything's on the web, everything is available, so just look. Au lieu de suivre just think. First of all, just think for yourself. Don't just take what they tell you as an information. Like if you get symptoms, go right on the web and try to find some answers and make sense of it. But you know,
parce que je trouve qu'il y a trop de panique. You know, people seem to just hear something on TVA and regular news and CBC, and then just freak out and follow it to a T, you know, and and do things that are otherwise not, you know, they're not logical.
Yeah.
You know, and you start seeing society around you going, why is my neighbor walking down the street in minus 20 degree weather with, you know, a mask on when it's already hard to breathe because you're in the cold? Just things you need to do to, you know, wake up the public.
First of all, just stop the mainstream media. That's a good. Tu sais, fais une diète. On fait des jeûnes des fois, hein, de comme
fast from the mainstream media.
Yeah, fast from the mainstream media. I would say that's a good. But I got the same problem. My grandma too. She listens to TVA, so I try to speak to her, and I see like she's close.
She's closed-minded.
Yeah, she's closed-minded. I cannot even talk with her, and just it's a wall. You know? Automatically, I want to try to say something, but. So I leave her alone, and tu sais, je veux dire, à cet âge-là, des fois c'est plus difficile de changer, mais.
What about, it's hard to change the minds, like you said, for people that are older and people who have seen a lot more, you know, and tougher times. But how do you speak to somebody that is from your generation? So you're 28 years old. I find a lot of people in your age group are less scared, are ready to go out and go back, and half of them are in Florida enjoying their life, right? Sont tout en Floride, and there's a criticism coming in from a lot of you know, older people saying that the young people don't seem to care. But I think the important thing is young people do care, but they want their lives back.
Yep.
They need on a besoin notre vie encore, parce qu'on a perdu beaucoup dans les dernières 2 ans.
And they're gonna care if you care.
Correct.
It goes two way, you know. The old's gotta try to understand the young, and the young's gotta try to understand the old. If it goes only one way, it's not good. So, tu sais, si tu veux que si tu veux vraiment comme comprendre les jeunes, c'est pas qu'ils s'en foutent, c'est vraiment juste qu'ils se sentent pas écoutés, ils se sentent pas compris. Puis quand tu essaies de parler avec des gens puis de leur amener des points différents, comme justement la grande déclaration de Barrington, tu essaies d'amener des points comme ça, des logical points, ben là, comme ils sont fermés d'esprit, ils veulent même pas écouter. Fait qu'après ça, pourquoi, comme moi, je care about you if you don't care about me?
Yeah. They don't even want to hear what you have to say. That's the scary part. Do you find, Gab, because you put out those videos, that did you lose any friends at all? Because I'll be honest, I've lost some acquaintances, some friends, some clients, some people who think I've lost my mind. I'm sure there are people watching us sitting across from each other now going, he has Gab on? You know, like people. Did you lose anybody? Did anybody anybody think you're nuts?
Yeah, for sure. I lost some people, but my close circle not really.
Are still with you.
Yeah. Because I got a good circle. I'm lucky. I'm gonna knock on woods.
Yeah.
I got good family, good friends around me. So some of them just were surprised that what I was doing, and I saw that there was maybe a little judgment, but not that much. So
me too.
They respected.
The closest people in my life are still with me. But man, did we clean up? It was a big spring cleaning. You really started to, and I see Jared there in the other studio, and he's nodding, and he's gone through the same thing. It was really a cleanup during the pandemic, and a lot of people really saw the forest for the trees. Je sais pas comment on dit ça,
forest for the trees.
Forest for the trees, le forêt pour les arbres. It's a saying. Anyway, people get it, and started to see, you know, basically people's true colors, you know,
right.
And we learned a lot about people during these last 2 years.
Oh, for sure.
Which is sad in a way, because you just want people to, your whole ethos, your whole, what you're about is spreading positivity and giving people facts and letting them decide based on those facts that you've researched what they should do next and what we should do next as a society. And I think you've done a lot of good for Quebec. I think more people need to watch Gab's videos if they haven't seen them yet, because they're so well put together and so concise. And within 2, 3, 4 minutes, again, I don't know how you do it, teleprompter, and, they're so good, Gab.
Yeah,
honestly.
merci. I appreciate.
Sorry?
Elegant. He said I was elegant.
Oh, elegant, yeah. And
OK, là, arrêtez, là.
Quand tu as quelqu'un qui est cute, and he has the man bun, and he has a nice smile, and he's intelligent, let me tell you, a lot more people are watching your videos. I'll tell you that. I don't know if your future wife wants to hear that, but I guess she figured it out already. Hi, it's Freeway Frank. Thank you so much for watching this week's Drive-By podcast with Gab Thibert. Back to the show in a second, but first, what happens when you sleep well? Well, you train better, you train harder, your focus is better, you eat better, and it all begins, believe it or not, with better sleep. Whatever your New Year's resolution is, and you may have broken a few already, it's time to make one, even though we're almost halfway through the month of January. Now's the time to make one to get better sleep. And for that, it all begins at Dormez-vous, the New Year, New You event. All you need to do, go online, speak to a sleep expert, or of course you could go in store and they'll tell you more about everything you need for that better sleep. It all begins with the mattress, the pillows, and your sleep essentials, and a Dormez-vous. It's the New Year, New You event. Wake up to better sleep. Your whole life improves at Dormez-vous in 2022. Now back to the podcast. So today, François Legault, the Premier of Quebec, said that as you were walking into my house, Gab was walking in. I hadn't even said hi to him yet. He was walking up my stairs, and I said, "Did you hear what François Legault, the Premier, just said?" And so today he said that the unvaccinated will be charged for health care. They're working on that. And that he said you will have a bill to pay, and he's calling it a health contribution or a health tax, whatever you want to call it. Your first thoughts on that, hearing that when you walked in my house?
I said something in a video. It was, if you want to follow that ideology, you should charge people that are obese, that don't take care of their health. That's it, man. If you want to be coherent and congruent with what you say, charge people that don't take care, that don't sleep well, that don't walk, that don't do sports. Okay, we're in a big trouble if we're trying to do that. So
parce que c'est toujours la ségrégation.
Exact.
C'est le même mot en français.
Ouais,
it's segregation. You can't just say, and again, this is not about whether you're pro or anti-vax or whatever the case is. This is about freedom. So you can't, in my opinion, start imposing a tax on the unvaccinated when there's all other members of society, like you just told us in French, who then should be taxed for some of their irresponsible behavior that we think is irresponsible behavior, or might not think is irresponsible. They might not think that, but it's the same thing. You can't just start picking and choosing, because then you're truly alienating one part of society.
Yeah. Puis c'est le respect, le respect, tu sais, je veux dire, on est tous, on a tous nos défauts, tout ça, puis c'est comme...
We have our defects, everybody, yeah.
So...
Yeah. So, would you pay it? Can I ask you that question? Because when I started discussing it with my wife, and I didn't even have a chance to talk about it with Jared, who's in the other room, and I know how Jared feels about certain things. What do you do? Like, we're scared because it's, again, whatever decision you make about any medical decision you make is your own privacy. Okay? It shouldn't be revealed to anyone else. But now what do? Are people going to start leaving the province? Are people going to be forced to sell their homes and leave because they don't agree with what's going on? Are people going to start standing up and saying, no, we're not paying this. We're not going to pay this. I have my reasons. Maybe it's religion. Maybe it's whatever. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, for me, it's two options. Either I leave, or either we unite and we say no. Ça suffit, là, comme on se tient ensemble.
United non-compliance.
No.
Yeah.
That's it. For me, that's my
You
opinion.
don't want to leave.
I don't want to leave.
No.
I love Quebec. I got a tattoo.
Show us our tattoo. Look at the fleur de lis on this.
I got the
Zoom
fleur
in.
de lis. Mais c'est ça, tu sais, j'adore le Québec, j'adore la culture. Je trouve que c'est beau de voir, tu sais, on a tellement de diversité culturelle, tellement de richesse au Québec, comme des Italiens, des gens de toutes les cultures de partout dans le monde qui viennent. Tu sais, on a le quartier italien, le quartier chinois. Il y a tellement on est tellement inclusif, tellement on parle anglais, on parle français. Tu sais,
It really is that's what
beau.
people don't understand. Quebec is, okay, take out all the bullshit. Remove all the problems, okay?
Politics.
Get rid of all the politics. When you just take everything away and you just forget all that stuff. Montreal is a fantastic city. Quebec, as you said, is a very distinct, very diverse place in Canada. And it's just to me, I don't want to leave. As someone who grew up as an Italian Montrealer, but I speak French and I speak English, and I don't want to leave either. I don't want to be forced out of here because they want to impose all these crazy draconian mandates and restrictions. It's nutty to me. So I'm with you 100%. I would rather fight the good fight and go down. But what does that mean exactly, fighting the good fight? Because it's starting to get scary now.
Yeah, but that's the beauty. When you take, quand tu prends du recul un petit peu, du recul sur la situation, comme encore une fois...
If you're able to step back.
Yeah, step back. Just think about it. We need to speak up, everybody.
That's why you're here
give our
today.
opinion. Yeah. That's why I do what I do. That's why I did the videos. That's why. So we need to speak up. And the worst thing that can happen is people are going to insult you on social media, and you can just turn off.
Do you think that's the worst thing that can happen, or do you think...
Well, maybe you can lose people, but if they don't accept you for who you are and what are your values, that's good. You know, you said it's sad to lose people. Yes, it is, but there's always two sides to a coin.
Yeah.
And yes, it's sad, but it's also good because it's a cleanup, and when you clean, you get room for something new, quelque chose de nouveau dans ta vie, quelque chose de plus. Tu fais de l'espace. Fait que tu sais, pour moi, c'est ça. Tu sais, je pense que c'est pas si pire que ça de perdre quelques personnes dans ta vie s'ils sont pas là pour les bonnes raisons, right?
Oui, mais pour perdre notre liberté, you know, ça c'est un autre chose. You know, to lose our freedom,
right.
That's what I'm concerned about, is that it just seems like, you know, now Dr. Arruda resigned last night. Today they imposed they're talking about this new tax. Look, for everybody watching, we're all going through the same thing, you know. People, this crosses economic, all economic situations that people are in. Poor, rich, middle class, lower, it doesn't matter. We're all going through challenging mental health issues. Everybody's going through a tough time right now. But people are scared, okay? So we have somebody here, my generation, we have somebody here from your generation, 28 years old. You're a positive guy, as you said. There's a lot about your videos that have connected and resonated to people. What do you say to people who are still scared, because you're so positive and you seem very confident, like you said, but inside you must be that's a scary question to answer. What do we do? And people are having these conversations in households across the world, specifically here in Quebec where we are. How do you answer that if your child asks you that question? Papa, j'ai peur, or your wife? I know I'm asking you some really tough questions, but
I'm trying to think, because c'est vrai que des fois, tu sais, c'est une bonne question, tu sais, puis des fois, moi, personnellement, je suis quelqu'un de positif, comme tu as dit, tu sais, fait que c'est difficile des fois de me mettre dans la perspective. Tu sais, j'ai eu des meltdowns aussi dans les dernières années. Maintenant, on dirait que j'essaie de... En fait, ça fait un certain temps que j'ai arrêté de regarder ce qu'ils font parce que je suis conscient de ce qu'ils font. I see where they're going.
Yeah.
From a long time. So dans les 6 derniers mois, I did my fast of mainstream media, and je continue mon jeûne encore aujourd'hui. Tu sais, tu m'as appris la nouvelle aujourd'hui. Puis la plupart du temps, c'est des people on social media that come to me and say comme hey Gab, t'as-tu entendu la nouvelle?
Yeah.
Puis c'est la seule façon que j'entends ce qu'ils font. Parce que moi, je suis focus sur qu'est-ce que je peux faire pour changer les choses.
So you're focused on what you could do to change things, and as you said earlier, you're taking a little break from watching the news or anything like that. So you're too focused on change and making sure we achieve change with what's going on right now in Quebec, that you're not even worried about being scared anymore, even though you said right now in French that you've had some mental, not breakdowns, but challenges as well, like all other people have.
Exactement. Puis c'est ça, je pense que la chose à dire, ça serait de prendre du temps de recul, tu sais, d'un peu tasser les médias sociaux, tasser, tu sais, l'espace présentement est très négatif. Il y a beaucoup de...
It's a very negative landscape, is what Gab's saying.
Puis c'est ça, tu sais, faut prendre du recul, faut être... ça peut générer beaucoup d'émotions, tu sais. En plus, notre cerveau n'a pas évolué pour avoir autant d'informations qui est coming in par les médias sociaux, tu sais,
Our brains haven't developed to the point where we could absorb all this social media information. It's really overwhelming. I'm just translating, so back and forth, because it's such great stuff.
Parfait.
I needed to go back and forth. Continue, s'il vous plaît.
Puis c'est ça, tu sais, c'est... fait que juste de prendre une petite pause, du recul, prendre du temps pour soi, je sais pas, ça peut être méditer, ça peut aller prendre des marches dehors, ça peut être whatever, juste fais des choses que t'aimes, toi, pour te mettre dans un état positif, contrôler ce que tu contrôles, puis ce que tu contrôles, c'est toi. That's it.
You could only control yourself. Go for a walk, go for a run, exercise, be of sound mind, but you can't control what other people are doing, especially governments and politicians, as we know.
Fait qu'il faut regarder un petit peu moins qu'est-ce qu'ils font. C'est sûr que, tu sais, il faut pas non plus être aveugle, mais il faut regarder un petit peu moins qu'est-ce qu'ils font, puis se concentrer plus sur notre vie, notre famille, les gens autour de nous, les gens qu'on aime, tu sais, puis ça, tu sais, je pense que c'est quelque chose qui peut faire du bien, justement, quand ça va pas bien, là, tu sais, quand t'es déprimé un peu.
What's your next video? As I can't wait for it.
Good question. Right now, I'm working on building a new media platform.
Nice.
For Quebec, so that's my main focus right now. So I did a lot of videos. I think I said it all. If you look back to like...
You said it all.
Yeah.
You really did, which is great.
So right now, like ma position, c'est comme j'ai fait ma part pour ça, j'ai fait les vidéos, j'ai pas l'intention d'en faire une comme prochainement, ça se peut que ça vienne, mais si l'inspiration vient, pour moi, j'ai donné ma contribution à ce niveau-là, j'espère que d'autres vont prendre la relève, qui vont faire des vidéos du genre aussi, tu sais, comme, je suis pas spécial, j'ai juste comme dit ma vérité, j'ai juste parlé de mon cœur. Puis comme tout le monde est capable de faire ça, t'as juste à donner ton opinion, dire que t'es pas d'accord en ce moment. Dis-le dans tes mots à toi, ça va avoir plus d'impact. Pourquoi mes vidéos ont eu de l'impact? C'est parce que j'ai parlé
du cœur,
puis j'ai parlé à ma façon. J'ai donné mon opinion, puis j'ai pas essayé de plaire à personne. Fait que c'est la même recette pour tout le monde, puis c'est pas compliqué à suivre. C'est comme, sois toi-même, dis ce que tu penses, puis comme c'est la meilleure façon, je pense, qu'on peut s'en sortir tout le monde ensemble de cette situation-là. T'sais.
Beautifully said. Man, this guy, I'm telling you, is going to have a lot of people excited. He's getting married February 22nd. He has one woman and only one woman on his mind. But man, it's so great to speak to someone, especially somebody in your age group who's got it all together. Like you said, you've gone through hurdles in life, you've made mistakes, but at 28 years old, you're focused, you're positive, you know what you're doing. You've said what you just told us. You said everything that you wanted to say on your videos already. There's nothing left really to be said again. You're working on a platform right now for Quebec. That's your next...
Yeah. If people want to hear about it, c'est projet2022.com.
It's not like the 2030 projet reset. Or,
no. Projet... je sais pas qu'est-ce que tu veux dire.
Non. Tu sais, le 2030, le reset. Le projet Project 2030. No, just a joke. Bad joke, by the way. So, projet 2022.
2022.
Okay. So, look, Gab, look forward to that. Look forward to seeing you again on social media, whatever it might be that you might be saying. But it was a pleasure having you. Is there anything else you want to add to the conversation, by the way? Because I've asked a lot of different questions. Is there anything else that you I've forgotten to ask you,
No,
or
c'est parfait.
something that you want to say? Because the reason I wanted to bring you on here, as I said, is I think I wanted more people to find out about you. That there's a lot of people who already know you, but I wanted more people, especially we have a big English audience, and I wanted more people to find out about you. And I think you are so positive, well-spoken, and your English is fantastic too, and it's improving every minute. The more you come on the show, the more it's going to improve, by the way.
It's going to get better.
And I think we
promise.
we need more people like you, Gab, to put their neck out on the line and express their true thoughts and not be scared. And that's what you've been about from the beginning. That's what caught my attention. That's what caught the attention of a lot of people on social media. And so I commend you for that. And I say congratulations on your work so far. Congratulations on your marriage, which is coming up next month. And I look forward, Gabs Thibert, to talking to you again and having you in my house. Merci beaucoup, mon ami.
Merci, Frank.
Merci.
Thanks for having me.
Salut, félicitations encore. Bonne chance. Hi, it's Freeway Frank. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this week's episode of The Drive-By. Before I go, I wanted to tell you how important a good night's sleep is, and good sleep begins at Dormez-vous. Have you waited too long to make that New Year's resolution? You're probably breaking a whole bunch of other ones to get that brand new mattress. Well, now's the time to go into one of their stores or go online and speak to a sleep expert at Dormez-vous and change your life, because once you get better sleep, everything improves in your life. Trust me on that one. So check them out right now. You'll wake up to better sleep in 2022. You'll sleep well, you'll stay well, and it all begins at Dormez-vous. Thanks for watching this week's episode. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and check us out. Of course, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We really appreciate you being here. We'll catch you again next week.
This is The Drive-By with Freeway Frank.